The Pain arc is a favorite arc of a large section of the fandom. I'm sure many of you who are watching now think of the Pain arc as your favorite arc in the Naruto series. So today I'm gonna be doing something quite sacrilegious. I'll be criticizing the Pain arc. Now don't get me wrong, I really like this arc. It's probably my top 5 favorite arcs in Naruto. Not my favorite, but very high up there. But I have a bit of a problem with it. Usually the two mainstream complaints about the Pain arc are gonna be 1, the animation of the 6 Tales version 2 Naruto versus Pain fight in the anime, which, yeah, it looks goofy in a few scenes, but overall, the animation is great, and I made a whole video talking about that. Or number 2, the fact that everybody that died during Pain's invasion of the Leaf Village was resurrected by the end of the arc, which people say diminishes the stakes and overall impact of what happened during the invasion itself, which I also disagree with. Yes, you can say it will diminish the stakes if people get resurrected all the time, and so a story could usually just pull this once before the trope gets tiresome. It does work in the Pain arc, because Naruto feels like this messianic character once he brings everybody back by talking no Jutsu in Nagato. It really feels like Naruto is the savior of the village and worthy of their respect. So none of these two are the problem that I have with the Pain arc. The problem that I have with the Pain arc is actually the problem I have with most of Naruto Shippuden before Kage shows up, because she's a much bigger problem. That problem is how Kishimoto treated the side characters. If we go back to Naruto Part 1, there are 4 major arcs there. We have the Land of Waves, the Chunin exams, which I just combined with the Konoha Crush arc because the Konoha Crush is the climax to the Chunin exams, the Search for Tsunade arc, and the Sasuke Retrieval arc. So basically 4 major arcs. The Land of Waves arc is very Team 7 centric when it comes to the protagonists. The Search for Tsunade arc is very Naruto centric and a bit Sasuke centric in the beginning when Itachi shows up, but mostly Naruto. However, the 2 major arcs in Naruto Part 1 and the 2 longest arcs as well focus on, yes, Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura, but also on so many interesting side characters that get a lot of development over those arcs. And it may or may not be a coincidence that the Chunin exams and the Sasuke Retrieval arc are regarded as 2 of the best arcs in the series by the vast majority of the Naruto fandom. The way Kishimoto managed to build up so many different characters in those 2 arcs, and give pretty much every single one of them an interesting character arc in of itself, as well as great moments that interact perfectly with the plots, is astonishing. I mean, if you take a look at the Chunin exams alone, we get introduced to at least 30 new characters in that arc. All the Konoha rookies, the Sen siblings, Jiraiya and Orochimaru, Kurenai, Guy, and Asuma, the Sound team, the Proctors with Ibiki, Anko, Hayate, and Genma, even the first and second Hokages, Zero Tensei. We get introduced to so many new characters in the Chunin exams, it's crazy, and for pretty much every single one of them we get something interesting. And also for most of them a character arc. I mean, somebody like Tenten didn't get a character arc, but it's Tenten. However, when I take a look at Shino, for example, a character that's completely forgotten for the rest of the series, he gets a very interesting arc and development during the Chunin exams and the Konoha Crush arc. The same thing happens in the Sasuke Retrieval arc. We get a very interesting story about many of the side characters in the Naruto series before the main event, which is Naruto vs Sasuke in the Valley of the End. And it's not as though you need 1,000 chapters for each side character to develop them. You can do that pretty quickly. I mean, Shino vs Kankuro in the Konoha Crush arc, for example, it's a very impactful fight and Shino's best battle and showcase in the whole series, and the whole thing lasts pretty much less than 2 chapters. This great focus we had on the side characters in Naruto Part 1 was definitely not present for most of Naruto Shippuden, and the Pain arc is no exception, and it's even worse, I would say, in the Pain arc. Now, we can see what Kishimoto was trying to do with the side characters in Naruto Shippuden. He was trying to give one mission for each rookie team alongside Team 7. So in the Kazekage Rescue arc, we get Team Guy to go along with Team 7. Unfortunately, Team Guy gets pretty much no development whatsoever. The only character in Team Guy that gets anything to do, really, is Guy himself, which is not bad, but the others just don't do anything. They just fight with their doppelgangers, and in the manga that fight lasts for literally 2 pages. In the Tenchi Bridge arc, we don't get another team joining Team 7, but we get 2 new characters, which I guess you could say is something, even though they don't do much to the series. Sai and Yamato were famously unimportant characters in the grand scheme of things, and I made a whole video about them. In the Akatsuki Suppression arc, we obviously get Team Asuma, and this arc does the side characters well. Well, I mean, it does Asuma and Shikamaru well, especially Shikamaru with the entire revenge plot against Hidan after he killed Asuma, but let's be real here, Choji and Ino are still lacking. Shikamaru is definitely the side character that hogs the spotlight here, which is not a problem, but still, Choji got way more development in the Sasuke Retrieval arc than he got in the Akatsuki Suppression arc, and there were fewer characters involved in the Akatsuki Suppression arc than in the Sasuke Retrieval arc. And then we get Team Kunai joining Team 7 in the Itachi Pursuit arc, and they do absolutely nothing. I mean, yeah, mechanically they do some stuff, like Hinata is tracking things with her Byakugan, Kiba's sniffing things with his nose, and Shino flexes his bugs once against Toby. I guess technically they are doing things, but they're not major things in any way, and they're getting absolutely no character development. I mean, Naruto gets paired up with Hinata, his future wife, in a team during the Itachi Pursuit arc, and nothing happens with that pairing. And yeah, Yamato's also there, doing nothing as always. Now, the issue with the Itachi Pursuit arc was that it was pretty damn quick, and it mostly revolved around the Sasuke versus Deidara fight, which was great, but the other characters didn't get a whole lot to do. And if you compare what happened to the characters in the 3 arcs where other teams joined Team 7, the only character that gets satisfying development out of the rookie teams that's not Naruto or Sakura is going to be Shikamaru in the Akatsuki Suppression arc. All other 8 characters don't evolve pretty much in any way. And this is very much the opposite to what happened back in Naruto Part 1 in the Chunin exams and in the Sasuke Retrieval arc. You can't even compare what happened to Kiba in the Sasuke Retrieval arc and in the Itachi Pursuit arc, for example. It's night and day. I mean, Kiba got his most important moment in the Sasuke Retrieval arc, and in the Itachi Pursuit arc, he gets nothing to do. Unfortunately, this trend continues up until the Pain arc, and it's even worse in the Pain arc, and I'm going to explain why. Now, in a more ideal world, Kishimoto would have given a little bit more focus to the side characters in the arcs before the Pain arc. In Naruto Shippuden, that is, so that we care more about those characters when Pain shows up to the Leaf Village and starts blowing things up. But the thing about the Pain arc is that this is the most dire threat the Leaf Village has probably ever faced. Maybe the Nine Tails attack when Naruto was born was worse in terms of danger, but it's very much up in the air. I mean, the village got way more destroyed in the Pain arc, so I guess there's that. But regardless, the Pain arc should be the arc where every single character, from the ones we care about at least, is doing something to protect the village, to actively fight against Pain and the Akatsuki, and to protect their friend Naruto. The Pain arc is that type of climactic arc where, yes, it makes sense to give a lot of side characters important things to do and give them development at the same time, just like it was in the Chunin exams and in the Sasuke Retrieval arc. And yes, some characters do get a little bit of development in the Pain arc, but it's only a few. Let's take a look at the ones from the Konoha 12 that actually get something more than just being around in the village in the Pain arc. First, we have Hinata and her love confession to Naruto when Naruto is pinned down by Pain and defeated. She's the one who prompts Naruto to go ballistic with the Nine Tails, and if you don't know this, in the manga, her fight against Pain lasts for a page. She gets literally one-shotted by Pain, which makes a lot more sense than the extended fight she had in the anime. And even though that's a sweet, interesting, good moment for Hinata as a character, nothing is done with it because Kishimoto simply does not develop the romance any longer in the series. I mean, they exchange a few words in the work, and then they end up married in the last chapter, but that's it. So that moment was vapid. We then have Choji fighting alongside Choza, his dad, and Kakashi versus Tendo Pain. And obviously Choji is not the main character of that fight, that's gonna be Kakashi. be in the good guy side. But at least Choji gets some development because he watches his dad, quote-unquote, being dead, and he has to make up his mind to run to Tsunade and tell her about Pain's abilities. He also learns Kakashi sacrificed himself to save him and that his dad was fine, and that made him cry a lot. And this is kind of a change in directions for Choji's character, because Choji's arc in Naruto Shippuden, which is finished in the work, it's one of the characters that actually get an end to their character arc in the work. And that arc is that Choji has to be less gentle and be harsh when necessary. He was afraid of fighting against Asuma because Asuma was his former sensei in the work, but obviously he has to fight against him because he's Naruto Tensei, and when he overcomes that fragile side of him, he wins the fight in the war arc. But that was never really Choji's arc in Naruto Part 1. His fight against Jirobo had everything to do with Choji accepting who he was and not trying to mold himself around what people wanted him to be, and understanding that his friends were there for him as well. At the end of the fight, when Choji is almost dead, he sees that Naruto, Shikamaru, and the others left signs on the tree so that Choji could follow them after he was done with Jirobo, so they believed he would win the fight. Something Choji thought nobody would because he's a quote-unquote loser because he's fat or whatever. So Kishimoto changes Choji's overall character arc, which is much more exacerbated during the war arc, but, well, at least he got something here, even if it doesn't quite align itself so well with what happened to Choji before in the Sasuke retrieval arc. We then get Ino, which is doing a couple of things, I suppose. She's helping out with the interrogation and autopsy squadrons in Leaf Village, and just going around trying to protect them, to deliver information that's necessary for people to defeat Pain. And I guess she watches Shizune dying, which was a mentor figure for her, which is bad. But Ino also watched Asuma dying in the previous arc, which is a much bigger mentor figure for her. So it's not as if this is a big new thing for Ino's character. And that's pretty much everything any characters from the Konoha 12 have in terms of character development during the Pain arc, and it's not a whole lot. It's very vapid. The other Konoha 12 members are just doing busy work during the Pain invasion. I mean, Kiba's chasing the Predator path with his mom, which, like, yeah, he's doing something, but that's not advancing his character in any way. Very much unlike what happened in the Sasuke retrieval arc, for example. Shikamaru is very useful decoding the message Jiraiya left behind, and also deciphering Pain's abilities, but, well, he's not undergoing a whole lot of character development here, and I'm kind of fine with Shikamaru not being the focus because he was well worked beforehand, at least. I guess you could say Shikamaru's quote-unquote arc in the Pain arc is that he had to learn not to interfere when he would be useless. After all, he broke his leg when Naruto showed up. His dad told him, yeah, no, you're not gonna help Naruto out if he has Sage Mode. There's nothing you can do to help him out. You're way below his level now, so just accept it. Which I guess is something. Shino is probably the most frustrating one out of all of them because, first of all, Shino's one of my favorite characters in Naruto and he never gets anything to do. And then in the Pain arc, he's about to face Konan with his clan, and that fight happens entirely off screen. They just cut away and we don't see it happening. We do see a glimpse of the fight in the anime, but it's nothing, major or anything. And obviously Shino gets no character development whatsoever in the Pain arc, much less the Aburame clan. God forbid we get some Aburame clan development. Sakura gets a few things to do in the Pain arc. She punches those centipedes away, protecting that little girl, and she heals some people as well. But she mostly stays in the hospital, and yeah, she's a medic ninja, but she's also a fighter. She should be in the field, fighting and healing people, shouldn't she? That'd be much more interesting. I mean, the most iconic part that Sakura plays in the arc is yelling for Naruto to come and save them, which is a great emotional scene, but she doesn't go through a whole lot of development during the Pain arc. I mean, obviously seeing your entire village getting blown up in your face is gonna change your perspective of things, but everybody that was in the village saw that happening, so it's not gonna be something unique to Sakura. It's just that Sakura has that bond with Naruto, which makes her screaming for his help that more gut-wrenching. It just would have been more interesting if Sakura had played a more active part defending the village, putting herself in harm's way much more often, getting hurt in the process. sacrificing herself for people around her and still get the village blown up. That would have been much more interesting, but she doesn't really do anything in the Pain arc other than just being around, busy work, as I said before. And of course, Team Guy is away from the village. They are not present whatsoever. Now, the in-universe reason is that they were on a mission, which is fair. Ninjas are gonna be away from the village on missions very often. So it does make sense for a few people not to be there, people that you're not gonna use in the arc. But we all know that, mechanically speaking, the reason why Team Guy was not in the village was so that Guy himself wouldn't be in the village, otherwise Pain would have lost before Naruto even showed up. I mean, can you imagine Guy and Kakashi fighting together, just going from Pain to Pain, beating them up? Kakashi was going to beat Tendo Pain if the Asura Path wasn't around, and Guy would just have been a problem for Kishimoto to deal with in the village, so he just sent him away, which is fine. I am fine with that decision. However, you didn't have to send Rock Lee, Neji, and Tenten away. You could have just sent Guy away so that the rookies would have a part to play. Now, would it be weird for Guy to be away and not his team? I mean, I guess so, but you could say he went on just another mission with another squadron of Jonins to whatever you want to call a mission. He has to go. And Neji, Lee, and Tenten stayed behind so they can fight against Pain and get some cool character development. I mean, that's exactly what happened in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Rock Lee left the hospital bed to go after the Sasuke retrieval team, and Guy stayed behind. Yamato and Sai, the supposedly new Team 7 members, were also away from the village during the Pain arc, meaning that these two characters who have got pretty much no development over the series thus far still get no development. I mean, Sai does get a little bit of development in the Tenchi Bridge arc, and his arc actually gets concluded in the war arc, but still he's not present for the Pain invasion, which is one of the most major events in Naruto Shippuden. But imagine how much more interesting the Pain arc would have been if every single member of the Konoha 12 had an interesting part to play and not just busy work. If they had to make very hard decisions during the Pain arc. If they had to somehow go beyond their current capabilities to fight against the invaders. I mean, it's not as if we're lacking antagonists for the Konoha 12 guys to go and fight. We have 6 Paths of Pain, plus Konan, and a billion different Animal Path summons. And also, the Naraka Path can resurrect Pain bodies that get destroyed anyway, so you can even make Konoha 12 members defeat Pain bodies, and still have all 6 of them fight against Naruto when he eventually shows up. I mean, that actually happens with the Asura Path that gets destroyed in the fight against Kakashi. So the Pain arc could have been this culmination of the Konoha 12 characters working together for the village and for Naruto's sake as well. And you know what pisses me off the most? The one character that gets a 1v1 against a Path of Pain is Konohamaru, the most useless filler freaking character in the whole series. And when I say filler character, I mean it. If you don't know this, 90% of Konohamaru's scenes in the anime are not in the manga. Yes, Konohamaru was the pseudo-main character of Naruto Chapter 2, but Kishimoto pretty much forgets about the guy the entire series. He doesn't really find a suitable place for Konohamaru to be in the story, and so he's used as comic relief every time he appears in the manga, and rest assured, when he appears in the anime, it's probably gonna be filler. If it's not the Pain fight and you're watching Konohamaru, it's gonna be a filler scene 9 times out of 10. I absolutely despise the Konohamaru versus Pain fight. It's definitely the worst part of the Pain arc. First, because it's Konohamaru getting development, a character that had no bearing in the story thus far, that was forgotten ever since Chapter 2, and that's very annoying, let's be real here. Also because Pain lost to a 12-year-old Genin. Yes, it's not one of the strongest paths, the Naraka Path, but Pain still lost and got fooled by Konohamaru. Wouldn't it make more sense if it was a character from the Konoha 12 during that fight, like Sakura or Neji or Lee, or a team of characters from the Konoha 12? Just give me anything but Konohamaru in that scene, please. It makes no freaking sense. Ebisu, his sensei, is getting pummeled by the Path of Pain. He was gonna get killed, and then Konohamaru saves him, and then Konohamaru beats the Path of Pain, showing that he is actually stronger than Ebisu. And I don't like that Konohamaru learns the Rasengan kinda easily. It's implied it wasn't very difficult for him to master the jutsu there. Like, when did Naruto even teach him the Rasengan? He didn't have a whole lot of free time in the Leaf Village in Naruto Shippuden. I mean, he had a few days where he was in the village in between missions. We see that mini arc with Sai and nicknames and everything. That was in the village. He could have been somewhere around there that he taught Konohamaru the Rasengan, but still, I just don't like that. It should have been a more important, more interesting character than Konohamaru there. And also, for the love of God, can you show Shino doing something? He's going to fight against Konan and Akatsuki. That's exciting, right? I mean, even the freaking Anbu does something interesting in the Pain arc, and Shino doesn't. Everybody jokes around that the Anbu is garbage, but actually they do pretty well against the multi-headed hound, using those massive elemental-style jutsus to subdue it. Like, yeah, I like that. You're showing the Anbu is, well, competent in a way, because they're a joke in the community. Oh god, the Anbu is coming, they're useless, they're fodder. And obviously they're not supposed to be, but in here, at least, you're showing them being capable of being powerful, I suppose. But all those characters are nameless, masked Anbu characters that are fighting against the multi-headed hound, and yeah, it's a very quick scene, but at least it's somewhat impactful, unlike what Shino gets to do in the arc. And yes, if you were to give more side character development during the Pain arc, you would have to stretch the arc before Naruto shows up by 10 to 15 or maybe even 20 chapters. But would that really be a bad thing? You could say the pacing of the arc would tank, but would it really? Nobody was complaining about all the fights we got before the Naruto vs Sasuke fight in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Even though obviously that was the main event of the arc, we got a whole lot of chapters before that showcasing very interesting fights and character moments. And it's not like the Pain arc is extremely long either. The invasion itself begins at chapter 418, and Naruto shows up at chapter 430, so there's like 12 chapters of things that happen before Naruto shows up. That's really damn quick. You could have easily made that into like 30 chapters before Naruto shows up. Make things really dire, and also make the situation that much more tense, because oh god, when is Naruto gonna show up? That'll be reinforced by those additional chapters and more characters having difficult situations to deal with. Also, nobody cares about the length of a story if the story is good. Nobody's complaining that the Chunin exams plus the Konoha Crush arc is almost 100 chapters. It was an amazing arc, and it by no means felt slow even though it was long. It's just that a lot of things were happening and a lot of characters were getting very good character development. The same thing could be applied here to the Pain arc before Naruto shows up. Just imagine every single member of the Konoha 12 fighting against Pain, the great invader of the Leaf, and also Konan. They even friggin' tease that in the opening in the anime, where we see additional scenes of characters fighting against Pain, some characters that are not even gonna be in the village like Neji and Lee, and we also see Hinata and Sakura and Ino fighting against Konan, and like we just do not see that at all in the story. And obviously, apart from the Konohamaru stuff, the Pain arc is still good before Naruto shows up, and after Naruto shows up, the Pain arc is absolutely amazing. It's just that more could have been done with the side characters, and that's something Kishimoto did really well in part 1, which kinda fell off in Naruto Shippuden, which is just unfortunate. Click on the video on your screen to watch more Naruto content. Don't forget to subscribe and please ring notifications. Those two things really help out the channel. Don't forget to like the video as well if you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching.